Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're still on the show Beauty with Brains. All right, Beauty with Brains is a female show that talks about that cut across issues affecting the female folks. And today we are looking at gender equality for sustainable tomorrow. And we have streamlined it down to differentiate the difference between feminism and an ambitious and independent, ambitious, brave, and a woman who wants to be successful. There tends to be a lot of social, or will I say societal talks. Whenever they see a woman who is independent and a woman who tends to stand up for the female folks, especially when they are not, when the female folks in the society are being talked down or cheated based on their gender, they term you a feminist. And sometimes that really baffles me. Does that mean everybody who wants to, who fights for the female folks or who try to talk, who try to stand up for the women is a feminist? That Chinwe Achebe said something in one of her talks. She made an instance of okay, a class teacher trying to select a class monitor for the class, and she was like, whoever scores the highest mark was going to be the class monitor. And so anxiously, she wanted to be in control, and she got the highest mark. But the teacher came back and said, no, a woman cannot lead the class. It has to be a man. And she said that really touched her. Like, why can't a woman lead? She said she wasn't really a feminist. She's not really a feminist, but would I say that really touched her. Yeah. And she said on another instance, she went out with a guy. She gave money to somebody, and the person turned to the guy and said, thank you, sir. Yeah. The person who gave you money is different, and the person who you're thanking is different. Why? Because that is the man. And she said, where is the place of the woman in the society? And that brings me to ask, so what exactly is this feminism? We need to understand, we need to know. So we know, is it that every woman out there who tries to stand up and speak for herself is a feminist?
Okay, and I believe that question is for me.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, first of all, to analyze this,
Okay.
we'll come to why does feminism have a negative connotation? Because for someone to want to make a distinction between, okay, no, I'm just an independent or outspoken young lady, or I'm not a feminist, means that the person probably feels that there's something within feminism that they don't want to be involved in. So before we can actually talk about this, we have to analyze what in that word brings such negative connotations up. Okay? So now over time, I believe there have been so many definitions about feminism, so many. Growing up, what I knew was that a feminist was anybody who thought that women had a place in society. That was a very blanket term, because it meant now that if you thought at all positively about a woman, it meant that you were feminist. Yes. But over time, I've learned, especially after getting my bachelor's in economics, we had to do history of economic thought. We did history of economics ahead, and we did comparative economics, where we talked about Marxist societies. So I came back over to learn now that feminism is just another political thought, like many others, an ideology, and it sees the world in a particular way. It's not, the word feminism does not mean a woman who has rights or who wants to do well. It's actually a particular type of thinking, a particular system of political thought, which sees the world in as a place whereby all that matters is power, and then some people have power and other people are being oppressed by it. And then yes, so and then for feminism, the people who have the power are the men, and people who are oppressed by that power are the women, and they are at war, kind of. So that is where that negative connotation comes in, because with some group of people we see that maybe resentment a lot with them, while some others will say no, they're just taking the other general definition, so, and they don't understand why they should get that kind of backlash. But the truth is that feminism is an ideology, a political one.
Yeah,
Sophie has actually been nodding her
yeah.
head.
Actually nodding my head, because when you told the story about Chief Mamanda Adichie, what she analyzed about feminism being in a class and all that, I believe is an ideology, just like you rightly said, about men should be in position and all that. But feminism, to my understanding, should be a belief that a man or a woman, or men and women, should have equal rights and opportunities. But now you're seeing that it's not obtainable. And looking at the Women's International Day this year, we're talking about breaking the barriers. Like, everybody should have an equal right, yes, in everything. So that brings me to this question: how can we differentiate feminism between an ambitious, brave, and a woman who wants to be successful in the society?
Okay, so that will take me back to that definition I gave. Feminism is an ideology. Okay? Feminism is an ideology. An ideology is a system of looking at the world, which may or may not be rooted in reality. Okay? And also, feminism is not just an ideology, it is a political one. Now, I remember my first class ever in Pole 101. I don't forget it. I ended up not attending that course, but I don't forget that definition. The lecturer said, economics says that resources are scarce. Politics is all about the struggle to be the person in charge of distributing those scarce resources. So feminism, being a political ideology, is all about, okay, these resources are scarce, and the two parties that are dragging these resources are men and women. And women have somehow not been the people, maybe they've not been able to get these resources, and now we want them to be in a position where they can get it. So it's a totally different viewpoint from somebody, instead of thinking about all womanhood, all women all over the world over, and how they've been oppressed, and how men have been matching them or dealing with them. Yes, oppressed. Instead of seeing it that way, a woman who is an independent woman, first of all, sees herself as a human being. Good. Okay? So she sees herself as a human being. She sees herself probably first as a sister, a wife, maybe, a daughter, a cousin,
A mother,
a teacher. She sees herself as all those things, and she wants to be the best in all those things. She doesn't see the world. She doesn't wake up in the world and face the world and say, "Oh, I'm a woman. I'm a woman, and because I'm a woman." No,
I'm in charge.
She sees herself first as those things that matter. Because the truth is, in as much as feminists try to make it look like men and women are at war, they really, in reality, they are not. Because if they really are, number one, it will mean that we actually, you say that we actually divide ourselves first, primarily as male or female. And I'll say that's not true. Because if we divided ourselves primarily as male or female, then if this room were to be burning and my brother were here, and I had the means of rescuing you, as in rescuing somebody, I should rescue you first, based on our shared womanhood, and leave my brother. So that is not what is going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
So that means that before I'm a woman, yes, I'm a woman, but it means that in my hierarchy of priorities, my being a woman is way down there. I'm first a sister before a woman. So a woman who is independent is first of all an independent human being who happens to be a woman. She wakes up, she finds those spheres in her life in which she operates, and she's diligent at it. She seeks to be good at them. She seeks to be best. She seeks to make a difference because making a difference matters. She seeks to impact society. And then at the end, yes, you see that, okay, it's a woman that is doing this, but she's not going at it first and foremost because she's a woman. Yes, so that is what I feel is the main difference.
I honestly like the way she just analyzed
Exactly.
it.
That's
You
just
know?
show that you're
Yes.
trying to be successful, or that you are successful doesn't
Because
make
I'm
you a
a
feminist.
human being. That is why I am trying to strive
Exactly.
for success. All right, viewers, let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll be hearing more on this.
So beautiful to know that you're still sticking with us on this beautiful show, Beauty with Brains, and we are talking about feminism. Now, today we have on the show Miss Ijoma, and she's been analyzing well and making us know the difference between an ambitious, brave woman and one who is a feminist. We saw some women in the National Assembly the other day contested and clamoring to be given a certain position and slot in the House of Representatives and House of Assembly. Okay, now my next question is, do the fight for equality in the society make one a feminist? Haven't seen them contesting, clamoring that they need 35% in the National Assembly and in the House of Representatives. Does that make them feminists?
I would say yes.
How?
Okay, I would say yes on the grounds that I believe they are doing that fight. They are making that fight based on the fact that they say that women, just women in general, are so and so and so things, so have such and such qualities, and so because they are women, and because women usually have those qualities, women should be given a chance or a space. So I would say they are feminists. When I would not say they are not feminists, when I would say they are not feminists, is if they were talking about particular qualities which are necessary, which are, would I say, necessary, or which are, let me not say equal. Okay, for example, let me come back to that example you gave. Yes. If the lady in question, we are fighting that because she's a woman, and just because she's a woman, she has a right, just like any other boy, to be leader of the class, I'll say she's feminist. But I'll not say she's feminist right now because a real test was given. If you make this, if you attain this point,
yes,
this
the
will be
highest
given
point,
to you.
yes.
You get, so this is a question of justice. It's not a question of woman or man. No, this is a question of justice. You said
You made it
I
clear.
should meet this quota. I met this quota. You are taking my prize away from me. That does not make her a feminist.
Feminist.
But if the argument was based on, okay, women are this, women are that, women are this, so women should be given this, I would say, okay, now the fight is now too general to actually be of any particular use. That's what I would say.
Okay, I want to bring us down to our African society. You know, this is Nigeria, and our culture. Actually, the apes, the female apes always bow down for the male apes, and but we are not apes. We are actually Africans, and we are Nigerian, and our culture will say the woman takes the second place. You know, that which automatically means a woman is not supposed to lead. I know that is, and I love this year's International Women's Day, breaking the bias, because it's actually trying to close that gap despite our culture in this country. We'll be rounding up. I want you to just give us, in the Nigerian context, looking at the culture we're coming out from, and looking at this independent woman trying to break forth and shine. And look, how do we relate this now? You know, the culture is trying to suppress her. Then the male folks are trying to say, no, go and sit down, you're a woman. You are not supposed to speak when I'm speaking. You know, I want to just Like just you as you round up, just give us a word.
This is quite a lengthy question. How long do you want this to be?
Just summarize
Okay.
in a nutshell.
No matter what culture is, no matter how strong a culture is, I would always say what PDQ makes the goal is I learned that everything bows before money.
Before what?
Everything before money.
Bows before
Okay.
money.
And not in the sense of body based on greed, but in the sense of that apart from air, I don't think there's any other thing that we need to be alive to survive that is free. So to some extent, body is not just about getting and greed. It's actually that when people are wanting money, what they're trying to do is to survive. They want to be alive. Okay? So you see that what culture is and has always been is a sum total of all the shortcuts which human beings have accumulated over time to be able to navigate and survive in their environment. That's what culture is. So, for example, my mom prepares soup in a certain way. She passes it down to me. She's telling me, this thing, put it before you put this one, because if not, this one will be bitter, or this one will be, that is culture. And she's passing this down because she probably did it that wrong way, then suffered for it, and she doesn't want me to suffer.
Yeah.
And she's telling me. Now, if we come from economics and survival, okay, we realize that before work became this comfortable, before computers, before the Industrial Revolution, work was work. It was hard, people died, it was grueling, it was difficult. Okay? And so, somehow, it became that the person with the biggest brawn, like physical strength, was the person who was able to do that. And so, men automatically, we are the people who had to do that hard, dangerous, terrible labor. So as time went on, okay, it now became like a culture because the people that are growing up will grow up and say, okay, it's daddy that goes outside under the sun, under the rain. I don't think anybody came out and said no. And even the men, there was a time that working class was an insult. Working class, even rich men, not everybody, even rich men didn't want to work. Okay, so it now came up that children are growing up and they're seeing daddy going to work. So that the work are getting a bit easier and safer because of the environment and industrial revolution. Women now started to get into the workplace. But the truth is that if you're the first person to do anything, you should expect pushback. Not just because the people there are thoughtful or anything, but because it's strange to them. This is the first time they are seeing this. So if you really want to break the bias, just do that thing that you think you can do. Do it, and even though people are wondering, how can somebody do this? Do it anyway. Yes, you might suffer because it will be strange for you to do it, but then you would have actually been breaking the idea that you're the only one, that it's only this set of people that could do this before, and then you make room for other people to come after you, and then maybe the second, third generation, it won't be so.
I think I've learned from you today.
Yeah,
I've learned
exactly.
a lot.
I know you wanted to conclude. You want to conclude, but just a quick one. Is it wrong for someone to be a feminist?
That's my opinion.
Yeah, your opinion. Yes.
I don't like feminism a lot.
Okay.
Because fundamentally, I don't like the way it divides human beings.
Okay.
Like I said, it just takes just the littlest thing here to show you that yes, we are women, but that's not the first most important thing.
Okay.
We don't wake up and define ourselves that way.
Okay.
Yes, so
That's
waking
lovely.
up and then deciding
I love
to now see it divides human beings in an unnatural along a natural line.
Okay,
Yes,
so
because
being a
if it were-
feminist is actually not so. It's not something that all women should imbibe or.
I think it's not even sustainable.
Okay.
Like for example,
Because of the division.
It's not-
yes, because of
the
that,
division.
it's dividing people on.
That's
also,
good.
For example, sorry, I know you want to round up, but I would like to give this example. they try to make quotas for women. Okay, okay. You say this maybe make sure women get 35% of something, or 40 or 60. I am of a family of 8. We are 6 girls and 2 boys. So if you divide and say, okay, make sure that women get this, and then because of that, you don't give my dad a job, for example, because you want to give it to a woman, his 6 daughters suffer. Do you get it?
All
His
right.
6 daughters suffer. So that division is really not natural.
have
Yes.
a lot to say when it comes to feminism, and it's something, just a topic that we can't just finish in
No,
just
no,
an
we
episode. And I don't know, but honestly, we really need to run down, because we really need to. Yes, our time is far behind. But I'm going to say I've learned something today, that every woman is first of all a human being, and that person wants to survive, and that person wants to shine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that does not necessarily make you a feminist.
Yeah.
All right, viewers, if you are still with us, this is Beauty with Brain. Today has been an interesting time and very educative, I must say. Do not forget, Beauty with Brains aired on channel 102, BRTV, the home of talk and entertainment. My name is Hope Simon, and
Toby Katsui.
Ijoma Udozo.
all right, and here we'll be saying thank you for joining us. See you next time, and stay tuned for the next program that is coming up. Be
Bye.